Today I'm going to watch Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Whoa, I'm actually excited. I love that possibility of it being good. I don't know, haven't haven't heard really anything much review wise, except for I heard a little bit that it's comparable to the first one, which if it is, that's great, okay? Because the first one was great, first time ever seeing Jack Sparrow, great, love that. Those are the kind of movie memories that stay with you. And I was very young when I watched the first Pirates of the Caribbean. It was in theaters too. Oh man, that was a great experience. Anyways, enough about nostalgia. We're talking about the fifth sequel here. Or not sequel, fifth sequel, but it's the fifth one. Am I still gonna enjoy it? I really hope so. I don't want my hopes being too high, because I went into the fourth one with low expectations, and I found out I enjoyed it. Even though it was nowhere near as good as the second one. Okay, and in case you didn't know, I loved the second one. And I also enjoyed the third one as bad as the third one is. See, I acknowledge the third one's bad, but I really loved the second one because the way they set up everything was just amazing. Anyways, enough talking about the previous Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I've seen trailers. I think one trailer, maybe a bit of a teaser, but a little bit of it's sort of spoiled because they sort of went into a little bit of the backstory of what the plot is for the fifth one, and so that's a little bit spoiled for me, and I really think Will Turner's return was spoiled for me. I'm sorry, this is all... I don't know specifically how he returns, but I know he's in this movie. I mean, last I heard in the early stages of production is him and... what's her name? I know her character's name, Elizabeth Swann. So Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann are supposed to return for this one and the sixth one. That's why I last heard, and that was several years ago. But yeah, if you think about it time-wise, if this movie's not doing that good, it might be because of that. There's a 6-year gap between the fourth one and the fifth one. Like, that's a long period of time to release a sequel, because the fourth one did really well, and it was released only about 3 or 4 years after the third one. So I'm excited. I'm trying to hold back my excitement for the movie. I don't want to get... I mean, even when I had a bad time with Pirates of the Caribbean, which was the third movie, I still somewhat enjoyed it. And for what they did, and those pretty amazing action scenes and moments. And it was a very interesting way to end off what they set off in the second movie. So, anyways, I'm about to watch Pirates of the Caribbean 5. And you're going to find out what I think of it. Here I go! Hello everyone, it's the day after I saw Pirates of the Caribbean 5, but the thing is I couldn't record that night because by the time I got home a lot of people in my house was sleeping and I didn't want to wake them up, and plus also I didn't want to spoil the movie for them by talking about it. So now it's the next day and I can talk about it as much as I want because no one's really here. Anyway, so I just watched Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Dead Man Tells No Tales. No spoilers for the first bit. I have to say, I actually kind of really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. Um, to me, because I always liked ships. I always liked, you know, pirate battles and all that, and um, sword fighting and some guns and all that. And so I always really liked the Pirates of the Caribbean since the beginning. Like the first one hit, and I was like, I love this. Of course, I was younger back then, and it's been a while since I've rewatched the first three, but I really enjoyed it. I even enjoyed the fourth one. Um, but the thing is, I also enjoyed the fifth one. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I actually had enjoyment as I was watching it, which is a weird feeling because um, movies in general now it's kind of hard to get that enjoyment when you're a filmmaker and you know the behind the scenes and making it and all that. Um, Surprisingly, I was actually able to enjoy this film. For example, I enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy, um, but I actually enjoyed Pirates of the Caribbean 5 more. Just because of how, I think actually, honestly, it has something to do with how unique Pirates of the Caribbean franchise is. Because if you think about it, how many other pirate type movies, ship battles and all that happens nowadays, like in film? Not many. Like especially on the blockbuster side and studio wise, Pirates of the Caribbean is like the only one. Only other ones I can think about beforehand was I've never saw the movie Pan because there's a ship in there, and yeah, Peter Pan. All the Peter Pan adaptations is really the only other one with like, pirate ship and all that, like Hook, that movie and all that. But there's not really that. I'm surprised how Disney and the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. That's the only thing. Like they have a monopoly on pirate adventures with the series, and they're like really the only ones putting it out. I mean, there are the really low budget, straight to DVD movies that involve pirates and ships and that, but this is really the only main blockbuster franchise that's doing this sort of awesome adventure type stuff. I definitely want to talk about it in more detail, sort of the problems with the films and that. So non-spoiler wise, I thought it was as bad. I mean, it's kind of hard to word this without explaining it, but it did. There was a couple. It's not a couple, but like in general, it's sort of a bad movie. But I enjoyed it enough that I actually thought when I got out of the theater, like if I did this review last night, I would have said this is a really good movie. But the thing is, the more I thought about the movie, the more I'm like, damn it, there was some problems with the movie. I acknowledge there's problems with the movie, but that still didn't let me stop me from enjoying the film, and I still like it. I still enjoy it. If I had to rank the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, the first five, I would have to say first place has to be Dead Man's Chest, which is the second one. Second one has to be, so the second Pirates of the Caribbean, the first Pirates of the Caribbean, because that was pretty well done, and then you got, I would actually put At World's End here for number 3, just because they had to wrap up everything major thing they set up in the second one and still give an epic sort of conclusion. And even though there's some really weird shit in it, I think honestly it's worth the number 3 spot for the entire Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. The only two I'm sort of stuck on is the 5th one and the 4th one, because they were both good movies. I enjoyed the 5th one a lot more than the 4th one, but I still enjoyed the 4th one. So in that sense, I would have to rate it the 5th one and then the 4th one, just because I enjoyed it that much. And it actually, the 5th one relates to the first 3 movies a lot more than the 4th one. Where the 4th one's sort of like its own, almost like a spin-off, but it's still following Jack Sparrow throughout all 5. So it's not really a spin-off, it's just, it has, you could technically skip the 4th one. And it wouldn't affect the viewing of the 5th one. Where if you skipped any of the first 3, that would affect the 5th movie. So, I thought it was good. I would recommend seeing it in theaters, because, it was action, adventure. It took me away for 2 hours. I had fun. I enjoyed it. Lots of laughs. And crazy over-the-top action scenes. Even though I felt like the majority of them, they did jump the shark a bit. But I really enjoyed it. Anyways, going into heads up, spoiler territory. I will spoil the movie from here on out. You heard my non-spoiler recommendation. Now for spoiler talk, to go into a little more specifics. I don't want to start off what I dislike. Now that I think about it, Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest 5 had, I think...
I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
If I had to figure out what was the problem with it, is script-wise. Because there was a lot of... it really felt coincidence. Like, the script writers used coincidence and luck way too much for this script. It was too noticeable. Like, at first I was like, okay, so they're just trying to set up the plot by having sort of relate these characters. Like in the beginning scene, when obviously the son of Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann goes to see his father. That's all great. That was all great setup and all that. Sort of brought us back into Pirates of the Caribbean after the 3rd one and all that. And then they introduced like the town setup with the bank robbery. Using that bank robbery, they set up, and that sort of town area, they set up the older Will Turner, or not Will Turner, the older son of Will Turner. I don't even know his name. Forgot what his name was. And then set up where Jack Sparrow is and his crew and all that. And then set up this new character, the one everyone kept calling a witch, but wasn't. She was just, using her brain compared to everyone else. It starts with a K, and it was some weird star name. Katina. Anyways, so it was way too coincidental. It's like, it just so happens that she's looking for the Trident of Poseidon. Son of Will Turner is looking for the Trident of Poseidon. And then Jack Sparrow just sort of gets thrown in to, he has to find it because of a stupid thing he did with his compass, which his compass was somehow holding them, the bad guys on the Ghosts, played by the James Bond villain for Skyfall and No Country for Old Men star. I cannot pronounce his name, he was somehow locked away in the Devil's Triangle, I think it was called. And what do you know? It was definitely a lot of just coincidences and everything just piling up. And it's funny because even early on, the whole plot detail of Jack Sparrow is, oh, you're out of luck, Jack. Jack Sparrow, your luck has run out. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just saw you, first of all, not get caught by the police in there, or the military in that area, while robbing a bank that's supposedly unrobbable, and a safe that's unrobbable, robbable, and you were flying on rooftops, going through buildings and all that, and you made it out there. And actually, they got that big safe on such a small ship in the middle of nowhere without anyone seeing. Like, the whole thing was luck based. Okay, I can't even get that good of a lucky roll in D&D or anything like that. Like, that is ridiculous roll of 20s every single time. And also, it's like seeing Jack Sparrow throughout the first 3 movies. I don't think in hell he would give up his compass for a drink. Like, I can kind of see what they were gonna do, try to do it, but the build up for that scene for him to want to do that is kind of okay. You know what? Now that I think about it, that worked, because his crews left him, even though he told them they're fired. He fell down in the mud. He's covered in mud, and so I guess he instinctively was like, "Oh, I just need a drink," and so he put his compass down, and then he realized too late that he shouldn't have done that. So I guess he was still in character. I thought for like the first time watching it, I actually thought that was an out of character experience for him, but it wasn't. So anyways, a lot of coincidence of how the characters lead up together and working together, and it's so funny because early on, we established that Will Turner's trying to, or not Will Turner. God damn it! If I call his son Will Turner another time. Turner Jr., the son, he's trying to free his father, which is actually kind of cool because in the second and third one, Will Turner was trying to free his father. We'll come back to that. But the girl, the witch, I kind of feel bad, Katara, whatever her name is. But, I mean, she's not a witch. So, Katara, K, I'll call her K, because I'll call her Cat. Cat never knew her father, and it was established that she just remembers that her father gave her this book, and she's under the impression her father was like a major astronomer or scientist or like man of science type guy. And it's so funny because early on, as soon as she sort of said that, and she and Will Turner Jr. is working together, and they talk, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh my gosh. We just watched, I could just see the script people being like, oh, Barbossa will be the father. Her father will be Barbossa. I'm like, I called it. I was like, Barbossa will be the father. And what do you know? Later on in the movie, it's revealed that he is the father.
Get not true. That's impossible.
Once again, apparently everything has to be friggin' connected with these writers, or whoever went with that decision. So, but the cool dynamic is finding it out is that he doesn't bluntly say it to her. He keeps it. He doesn't mention, like, he knows, but she doesn't know that he's the father. So it's that's a kind of cool that's a cool dynamic. That's a cool dynamic. That's a cool dynamic that they keep through the rest of the film. I mean, it had really fun action scenes. Like, I couldn't stop laughing with how absurdly funny the guillotine scene was. Like, that was a highlight. The cameo by Paul McCartney, he sort of stole the show because it happened early on, and he just, the entire scene, I was like, it was awesome. It was an awesome scene. It was an awesome cameo. It was really random. It just so happens the scene happened in between segue, and I enjoyed it. It was really well written. Like, there was dialogue. The dialogue and the character interaction between the actors and all that were great throughout this movie. Really well done. Everyone brought their A game, and it just the script problems I'm talking about is just more plot, and not plot per se, because I kind of liked the plot, but it just felt it was really too not well done, too coincidental, too luck, and it was too I think it's been done before sort of thing. Because why I felt like this movie did not need the whole Jack Sparrow trying to find the trident of Poseidon. That actually sounded like it should have been another movie on its own. Because, I mean, the fourth one was him trying to find the Fountain of Youth. But now the trident of Poseidon is sort of just thrown in here, which is unfortunate because you have a really good plot setup of a very simple plot setup of Captain Salivar. He wants to kill Jack Sparrow and all the pirates. He just wants to kill all the pirates. Like, you could have actually just went off of that than to introduce the trident of Poseidon. They introduced the trident of Poseidon because in stupid reset button mode, if you somehow manage to get hold of trident of Poseidon, you can undo all curses. And curses include the skeletons that were in the first Pirates of the Caribbean with the gold medallion curse. That would be the Davy Jones curse crew, and then the newer ones, the Salivar's crew, who are sort of like ghost-like things. Really cool special effects. Yeah, so that one little plot detail, it fixes all the curses. And it's like, I can tell that was kind of just put in there. The only reason it's in there is because they want to find a way to fix Will Turner and deal with the plot that's happening right now at the same time. So I felt it's like decisions like that were really bad script-wise. It would have been interesting if they found another way, like another unique plot way of dealing with the ghosts that will just keep hunting them on the seas. But no, they went with here's an item. If you get to it first, there's a chance you might be able to do it. It gives you power and all that. I mean, it was a really cool design. All the sets, the costumes, the well done production design. I just felt also it was a little too heavy on the special effects. Like if I remember Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, what was really like CGI and special effects? It was the crew, the skeleton crew, them walking underwater, them, being skeletons walking around. But for the most part, everything else wasn't CGI. It was all practical. But like every establishing shot and everything, it's CGI, and you can sort of tell, or it's been heavily altered. The ship battles even seem more CGI and all that. Like for example, in like the earlier Pirates of the Caribbean, like the third one, CGI. The third and second one was when they started to use CGI more heavily, but the second one didn't overuse it. The third one didn't overuse it. They just used it specifically for stuff that couldn't normally be done, like the crab sequence and rocks and the maelstrom. Like that all makes sense, but even then, that felt really practical. Like I know the water and all that was all CGI, but the ships themselves actually felt real and all that while they were fighting in that maelstrom. But in this movie, they definitely used it for everything. Anything major, they were like CGI. If it's the bank robbery at the beginning to like the end fight scene in the or the ship fight scenes, like there's so many different little plot things that stick out to me that were sort of wrong. Like you got the ending scene on Poseidon on the ground because the ocean opens up and it's the bottom of the sea. But yet, the captain's able to fight there no problem. But whenever one of the other guys, the crew members, try to help, they jump in and they turn to smoke, which only happens when they touch land. Like, I understand technically the bottom of the sea is land, but it shouldn't be that way technically because, oh man, that's stupid. Anyways. And then there's also little things like the ending sequence. Everything's happy. Everything's been fixed and all that. Last scene of the movie before credits. Everything worked out, and then it's like, okay, so Will Turner gets his curse is lifted, and he's reunited with Elizabeth Swann. Which I remember her name now because I saw it in the end credits. Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom. I totally forgot those names. But it's funny because I remembered the characters' names more than the actor's name. Oh yeah, so it's all happy and all that, but they didn't tie up because if Will Turner's curse is free, I wanted to see the rest of the crew members of the Dutchman be free. Like, for example, Will Turner's father. Where the fuck is he? Like, honestly, he should have been there at the end credit scene with the crew, and maybe Will Turner has an interaction with the crew. He's like, "You're all free now," or something like that, and then have the crew members be like, "No, we sail with you," or something like that, and that would have been cool to have, but they were like, no, we can't do that. We spent too much budget on CGI sharks and all that, I did enjoy it. Even thinking back and sort of pointing out these sort of problems, it just, even though there was problems, I was still able to overlook it, to have a good time with the film. Hopefully they do the sixth one a lot better. The thing is, the after end credit scene was definitely the thing that really made me realize how bad script or plot wise this is sort of going. It's Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann in bed sleeping, assumingly that night, and the door creaks open slowly. Who's appearing? Someone's walking. Who could it be? And it is heavily implied it's Davy Jones. Now, I am mixed feelings about this. Oh, well, that's not even the end of the scene. Will Turner wakes up all of a sudden, like if it was a dream or a nightmare, and no one's there. Doors closed, everything. It was just a dream. It was just a nightmare, you know. And then he sort of goes back to sleep, and then the camera goes down to reveal the wet floor and a little bit of the, I think, barnacles or something, some sort of plant or animal life from the sea. So, implying that he was there. So, that's the straw that broke my back and made me realize just sort of kind of how bad this is. Because, plot-wise, okay, the curse has been lifted, but Davy Jones is dead. He's dead. As much as I loved that character in the second and third movie, he's dead. There's no way when the curses were lifted that he would still be alive. Because there's been various stuff throughout the Pirates of the Caribbean series that when the curse ends, and if your human body or your body is not, would technically be dead, is dead. Like in the first movie, the guy with the bomb, or well, for example, Barbossa. Oh fuck, that's actually a bad example because Barbossa in the first movie got shot when the curse was ended and he died, but then was brought back in the end of the second movie because of Calypso, or I think that was her name. Damn, that was a bad example. But anyways, Davy Jones should be dead, and it should be something new happening for the sixth movie. But if they want to go back and do Davy Jones again, damn it. They better do a better job script and plot-wise, if that is the case. And another thing, the whole ending escape thing, they're on an anchor, and it's like a big long rope, and they're trying to get pulled up, and meanwhile all the rest of the Salvana's crew, Salamander, whatever, Salazar or whatever, are all trying to climb up as well. And you got... It always bugs me because it's like, I know there's so many movies I've seen where they're climbing a rope or something, and it's always primed to have a character sacrifice themselves to save the rest of them or something like that. And here it was not handled well at all. I think it's just kind of forced to give this movie a little more meaning. I mean, you got, spoiler, it's who dies? It's Barbossa. And it sucks because it's like after 4 other movies, and it's like if he was to die, that was a really crappy way of doing it. Like compared to all the other deaths that were in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, it wasn't really that great of a send-off because we just met supposedly his daughter, and it's like, it was like literally the only factor that he did that was for that. It bugged me. Just script choices like that really annoyed me. Like, it was epic, but it's been done before. that sort of death, and it's funny because it was right. It was like the whole time on the chain. Oh, he better not, and I knew just from the way that they shot it and set it up. I'm like, Barbossa's gonna decide to take out the main bad guy and risk basically suicide to save the rest of them, and they went through with it, and I was like, and especially right after, because he had a matching tattoo of the stars. It gets revealed to Kat or whatever. She realizes that he was her father. No, that's impossible. Oh yeah, he's gonna right there. I was like, yeah, he's gonna risk it. He's gonna kill himself to save them, and it's annoying because it's like that's the way you send off the original villain, the guy who's back and forth with being bad and good, the one little rival for Jack Sparrow, who they both keep fighting over the Black Pearl, and it's like, this is the send off you give him, a forced like, we just got introduced that all of a sudden he has a daughter, which kind of doesn't make. I think there might be a little bit of a plot error in that. Especially with the journal specifically and where they got it and all that, and how the journal is important to the plot of this one, and it's like too many fucking coincidences. But surprisingly, I was able to just push to block out those problems. Well, I still acknowledge that there's problems, and every time I view it, I'm going to see those problems. Maybe I'll see them in a new light later on, but right now, I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed Pirates of the Caribbean 5, and I think it's a welcoming addition to the franchise, despite its problems. So, oh yeah, that's right. Music. There's no Hans Zimmer. That's unfortunate. I think the same thing happened with the fourth movie. But I'm sure he executive produced it, because, like, for example, the very first Pirates of the Caribbean, it was, I think, Claus Bennett or something like that. I forget his name. Show him here. He did the soundtrack to the first one, but I didn't realize this until afterwards, but Hans Zimmer was executive, like, producer of the soundtrack. Like, he was the Overwatch type guy. And then for the second one and third one, he took over Hans Zimmer. Yeah. So the fourth one, I'm not sure if it was if Hans Zimmer was involved. Same with the fifth one. But you know what? Music-wise, they did a decent job of keeping the classic Pirates of the Caribbean type music from the previous ones, while building upon sort of newer motives and themes and music. But I did feel like they might have relied too heavily on it in the comedic parts of the movie. Like, because it always, it's like whenever there's a comedic moment, it just goes into that that classic theme that we've heard so many times before. In the first one, it's like kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a catch-22, because if you don't use it, people will be like, oh, it doesn't sound like Pirates of the Caribbean. But then if you use that music, then it's like we've heard this before. But that was just a slight thing that I caught. Yeah, so other than that, the music was pretty good overall. And actually, I had the big WTF moment was the credits. This movie was directed by two people I've never even heard of. So, it was definitely I was like,
Who?
as like credits appear, and I was like, who? Like, it's definitely, I want to look up what else they've done, but I just found it interesting that two people directed this. I don't know, I can't remember who directed the other ones. I definitely want to rewatch Pirates of the Caribbean. Have a marathon of that, definitely. Definitely want to rewatch those movies. Especially the second one. I love the second one. I love it. I also love the first one. But the second one was just such a good setup. And the third one, well, that's a discussion for another video. Anyways, hopefully the sixth one isn't too bad, because I definitely enjoyed the series, all 5 movies. Some I enjoyed a lot more than others. Special effects, like for example the crew members of Salazar's, really well done special effects, but they didn't really need it for like the bank scene specifically and stuff like that. You couldn't act, and that town, the landscape, and certain ship things and whatnot. It's like you couldn't figure out a way to do it practically. It's unfortunate, but it's another plot thing that I just want to point out that's really weird. They're going a little too heavily on the supernatural side. Because, for example, you got the ghost crew and all that, and then you got the sharks and that. Okay, so that's cool. That's great. They probably captured those sharks while they were in the Devil's Triangle or something like that. That's cool. But the ship, the statue on the front of the ship coming alive to fight Jack Sparrow. What the fuck were you guys thinking, script-wise? There's no reason why the little thing at the front of the ship would do that. I can get away with the ship going up and eating other ships, but that's a little far-fetched. Especially given the circumstances, they're just a ghost crew. So yeah, there's some ridiculous action scenes, but overall I still enjoyed it. I'm definitely gonna pick it up when it comes out, and I'm a little bit excited for the 6th one, but at the same time I'm like, there's a good chance they might screw it up, Disney, which is unfortunate. Because given some of the plot elements in the 5th one, hopefully the 6th one is a little more better planned. Because you also gotta understand, the 5th one, Dead Man Tells No Tales, it's been 5 or 6 years since the 4th one. They had 6 or 7 years, probably 6 years to plan this out and do this one a lot better than what it was. I mean, it was good. I still enjoyed it, but they could have definitely made it a much better movie. But it felt like maybe a little bit of it was rushed. Because the fourth one was done about 3 or 4 years after it. So less time has passed between the 3rd and 4th one than the 4th and 5th one. 4th and 5th one, there was a lot more time. So, And the fourth one structurally is actually a lot better, story wise. The thing is, it doesn't relate, like it doesn't have any total relation to the other Pirates of the Caribbean movies except for Jack Sparrow and Barbossa. So, that's why I'm a little bit back and forth between the fourth and fifth one. Because the fifth one definitely has some problems with it. But I remember enjoying the fourth one, but I remember I really enjoyed the fifth one. I think slightly more. I enjoyed it more. So I would definitely. I mean, if you liked any of the Pirates of the Caribbean ones, I would definitely check this out. Formulate your own opinion, all that jazz. So thank you very much for watching. Probably the most. This is probably the most I've ever talked about a movie for my Just Watch series, and this is definitely probably one of the better reviews I've ever. Probably the best review I've ever done, in the sense that I'm actually talking about the movie. I think I'm doing a really good job of displaying my own thoughts about the movie. What do you guys think? What did you guys think of Pirates of the Caribbean 5 Dead Man's Chest? Or, fuck. This is what happens when you name your movie Dead Man as part of the Dead Man Tales the Hotel, Dead Man's Chest. It's like, I'm gonna get those titles mixed up. But anyways, I want to know what you thought of Pirates of the Caribbean 5 Dead Man Tales No Tales. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the movie. Thank you very much for watching again. Check out my other stuff if you want. Thank you very much for watching. I want you to have a nice day or night or whatever time you watch this. Have a nice whatever. Thanks again for watching.